All right, so welcome to another one for Al Cuerpo Boxing, to the body. So let's get with it. Let's talk some boxing. So, Canelo Crawford is about a month away. Should be a win-win for us fans. A win for Netflix, obviously. A win for Canelo and a win for Crawford. Just because this is not an exhibition fight. And usually the stuff that goes on Netflix are exhibition fights, right? So if you have a subscription to Netflix, you get this fight on the house. And so anyways, what we're seeing nowadays from a lot of content creators that cover boxing, content creators that have a big following in boxing, are having somewhat of a battle or a war regarding Snack and VADA, or I guess Terrence Crawford in general, right? And of course Canelo, right? The Team Reynoso narrative. Oh man, so I told guys long before that this theme about anti-doping would implode in boxing, right? I'm so glad that I was right. And I was specifically talking about Canelo versus Crawford because usually when mega fights happen or big fights happen, you get parties from left and right that start leaking out, or they start instigating themes, right, that affect the fight itself. In this case, we're talking about anti-doping, right? As a matter of fact, you saw it with Mayweather and Pacquiao, right, with the whole IV gate and the whole Toradol gate with Pac and Floyd, right? So it's normal, man. We see that stuff in politics, man. Fans, or I guess parties, they get insecure and they start leaking out propaganda narratives, either to sell the fight or to protect their investments, right? That being the fighters from either side. And so right now we've got a lot of these YouTube channels that they're going in on Crawford, and you got or other channels that are protecting Crawford. And we're talking about VADA, all right? Or Snack, or Victor Conte, however you want to, I guess, how would you say, spice it up, spice it up. And don't get me wrong, if you guys want to talk about Team Reynoso and Canelo, that's fine. I mean, that's just a given, right? But right now, I guess, as far as, I'm an all-American, man. I'm an American cat, so I'm going to keep it 100. But right now, the channels that are kind of instigating and protecting on Crawford are the black channels, right? Or I should say politically correct, the African-American channels. And so I'm not going to mention the channel. I don't have to. You guys can go and do it yourselves. But there's a channel that's supposedly it's being hit by Canelo's management or his lawyers, right? They want to cite a defamation case or some sort of letter. Yeah, case. We'll just call it case towards that YouTube channel, right? But when you think about it, guys, does Team Crawford really want to go that route? Or is it even worth going that route? Why? Because content creators, I mean, it's a public domain forum. As long as you don't really cite, or as long as you don't say stuff that has no reference points as far as, important context, right? What I mean by that is, the whole VADA letter that came out, right? Geez, a fumble of a VADA letter. And I believe it was Terrence Crawford or Terrence Crawford's team have leaked out a letter by VADA stating that Terrence Crawford had passed a recent random check, right? Because it said negative, right? So they collected a sample collection from Crawford. I don't even know what collection date it was. I think the collection date was on it. And what I mean by collection date, I'm not talking about the date of what the letter was addressed, postmarked. All right, but there's two dates, right? One when the collection sample was analyzed and confirmed, right? That date is referenced, all right? And then there is the date for the letterhead of when it's sent out to Team Crawford, right? We don't really know the random testing date. I don't know. I may be wrong, but anyways, that's not the point. The point is that usually in a formal domain or a professional domain, and that being VADA, Hey, I mean, it's possible. Yeah, you can make clerical mistakes, but it's like it's a very ghetto mistake, man, if you will, from VADA, or even worse, man. Like it's hard to know how it was doctored, right? If it was doctored or not. It's just so stupid, man. This whole thing is so stupid, and really, it's not even about Crawford. Really, you know who it really affects? It's VADA's professionalism. That's how. Let's phrase it like that. VADA's professionalism in the game to have a mistake like that. When I mean, if they're trying to help out Crawford in that case, see, the problem is that's the problem right now is that fans are trying to unravel how that clerical mistake was made. Which date was incorrect? The collection of this year? The correction of the letterhead? Was it an old template of a letterhead from past? Was the collection... I mean, it's just stupid, guys. It's stupid. And I'm sure you guys know what I mean by that. So anyways, what does this all mean? That YouTube channel that is trying to defame Terrence Crawford, he's going by that letterhead, guys. For example, that's just one reference point. Another citation or reference what that guy is trying to state is the whole Balco scandal, right? The whole point of how VADA or Snack are in the game to begin with. These are legitimate questions, right? So to say that it's defamation and to cite false information, well, I mean, that YouTube content creator is just going off with what's being given to the public. One, Terrence Crawford leaking that VADA letter to, I wouldn't say leaking, posting that VADA letter to protect his stance, right? Oh man, this is why I always say, man, don't even talk about peds in the game, man. Or as I always say, man, don't point fingers, guys. Who does this help out realistically? It helps out Team Reynoso. Now, some of you guys right now might say, wow, well, this is just your method of, I wouldn't even say protecting or trying to deter from fans that looking at Team Reynoso, right? I don't even need to do that, guys, because if that were the case, hey, I'm not the one telling these other YouTube channels to have a war between Snack and Crawford. No, I'm not doing that, right? How does that benefit me? I mean, I'm an American. I'm a Hispanic American. I am a Canelo fan. You guys know I'm a Crawford fan. So am I doing a disservice to them by citing this war that's going on between these content creators? No, not really. By the way, shout out to my guy, Rapstar Boxing Knowledge, because he's the reason why I'm doing this video, because he, in his recent live stream today, I heard a bit about it, and there's one YouTuber by the name of Mr. Castro, Senor Castro, who cited this, and I had forgotten about this template, this letterhead from VADA, and I was like thinking, damn, how did I miss that? I mean, I don't really care, to be honest, but I think it's funny because I always cite Rapstar's channel as being a good satire channel, right? So I guess I'm furthering that theory of satire to give his channel credit, to give Mr. Castro credit in citing that reference, because as he said, it's just stupid, right? It's ghetto, man. It's ghetto. What I mean by ghetto is VADA's professionalism in giving Terrence Crawford that letter. Or more importantly, guys, why would Terrence Crawford, I mean, did Terrence Crawford's team, forget Terrence, I don't think Terrence Crawford's doing all that, but, or maybe he is, I don't know, but did Terrence Crawford like literally look at every single detail? It's, hey guys, it's not a 7-page document. It's not a complicated document. Ironically, random doping and citation is based on goddamn dates, guys, dates. So did Terrence Crawford or whoever, man, I keep saying Terrence Crawford, forget Terrence Crawford, Terrence Crawford's handlers, how did they overlook those dates in a letterhead and you're posting that to the public? Perhaps they thought the public wouldn't question those dates. Maybe they were ready for fans to question those dates, right? Because maybe it might be something pure in that VADA did send them those dates. But at the same time, if I'm Crawford's handlers, why would I post a letter like that? I mean, wouldn't I question? Put it this way. Put it this way, guys. If I'm Team Crawford and I'm looking at that date, the first thing I want to do is send it back to VADA and say, hey, man, can you guys correct that date before I show it to the public? By the way, they did do that after the fact, after this whole scandal of a date. They did do that. But out of due diligence, wouldn't you want to correct that date before showing it to the public? Oh, man, stupid shit that's going on. And let this be a lesson to all you guys that like to leak propaganda. Let it be a lesson, guys. That's why don't point fingers, man. Who does it affect? It affects all the snack crew. It affects VADA and Snack's maybe rogue affiliation, if you want to call it that. Right? I'm kind of glad this happened, man. I'm glad because I told people more than a year ago, before Canelo and Crawford were in talks, that when the time came for that fight to happen, and this is before Canelo even joined alliances with the Arabs, even before Crawford joined alliances with Arabs, if that fight was really brewing, when it was first mentioned, I told everybody, man, that's when there's going to be implosion. Why? Because I said before, fans like to connect the dots with instigation. You guys like to cite references, all right? We always knew there were anti-Crawford fans in respect to the PBC and Errol Spence Jr. As a matter of fact, I think that's where that one channel's coming from. It's no coincidence that a channel that goes hard on Crawford, that has always been kind of pro-PBC, that they're doing this defamation stuff as of late, right? I'm more than sure that channel is being coached by the PBC. I think the PBC loves the current situation because they'll challenge the current situation of defamation. And let that be a warning for the back road side of the Terrence Crawford crew that are involved with VADA and Snack. And right now, fans are trying to scramble like, let's protect Virgil Ortiz. Let's protect Bam Rodriguez. Let's just mention all the Snack crew to somewhat deter from the point of Terrence Crawford. You don't really want to do that because that's really affecting the whole Snack brand and their level of professionalism. And then what does that do in the long run? If it's really bad, well, then it goes back to us fans saying, don't involve Snack in the game. Right? We even humor the idea. Okay, so if you guys want to attack Team Reynoso, well, then why doesn't Team Reynoso just go with Snack then? When we cite that narrative, a lot of fans are like, do we really want to do that? If we do that, if we acknowledge that, then that would clear Team Reynoso's crew. And then where does that put? It becomes a paradox, guys. So, as far as the whole defamation case, I don't even know if it's a case, but you don't really want to go there because at the end of the day, it singles itself out. There's enough citation in the game that this YouTube content creator's channel, if he had his own lawyers, they could cite all the stuff that would help their opinion, right? They would help their opinion. There's a lot of references for that. It doesn't mean that he's going off a false claim. He's citing references. Balco, Conte. By the way, as I said before in a previous video, shout out to Conte, man. I hope the guy's doing better, because right now he's undergoing a very scary situation. Pancreatic cancer is no joke. It's one of the worst cancers you can get. So I hope he does well. And the whole scheme of things, the whole paradox of the thing, I would actually like if Snack were still in the game, because at the end of the day, Snack will balance everything out. If Conte could balance the whole game out and letting everybody know that we shouldn't point fingers, Well, because really, what's Conte's role? Conte is just saying, hey, join us. He's not really, well, I don't know. I don't really want to go into that. I'll let other content creators talk about that stuff. But that's what I got on this, guys. Hopefully you guys know the irony and why we shouldn't really pointing fingers, and don't reference Team Reynoso. Just let that be a warning, guys. It backfires. It backfires. So if you guys say, well, then don't point at Snack, it all cancels each other out. So don't even mention it. That's what I got on this one, guys. for another one for Al Cuerpo Boxing, to the body. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.